So yeah, so the first thing
buttons is fun.
Pushing buttons is fun. So the first thing that's important to understand is that it's going to take everybody 30 seconds to get caught up to us, because as soon as you go live on Twitch, they start seeing an ad, and it takes them at least 30 seconds to sort of catch up to real time.
There's a bit of a delay.
Yes.
Yeah, and they have a 20 or 30 second delay. If you're in the Twitch chat, it's instant, but
so what you're trying to say is that you guys can censor me, and I should just watch my mouth.
That's actually a feature that we could do, but we
don't actively censor, but we do try to keep things somewhat family friendly. Depending on the time in the evening and how many drinks I had with dinner, sometimes I let something sneak out, but I don't think.
Yeah, so if something pops out, you can just go Fred bleep, and then I'll start remembering to do that. But
it's more like we have 30 seconds to think about what we've done before people will hear it.
Exactly.
Well, I do have a 4 and a 6-year-old, so I do have at least some wiring that can keep me from most of the time saying what I shouldn't. But
yeah, see, I have a very similar situation. We have 3 kids, 10 and under, and so I've had to train myself to be as careful as possible when it comes to my mouth. It doesn't always work, but I do what I can.
Yep.
All right, so I guess we could give people maybe another minute to get in. I'll do a big introduction later. What's that?
Everyone's gone and seen Captain America: Civil War. Let's talk about it.
Oh, John. Right? You and your silly living in the future.
It's great being over here in the future. It's really weird that they got it in advance. Usually it's like
the other
way
way
later.
Yeah.
Everywhere get stuff. But
see, and I just finally got caught up and watched Deadpool for the first time this weekend.
Well, when Kiss Kiss Bang Bang hit the theaters, it was actually months after I had seen it, when I just happened to be in Paris with my wife, and it was very strange to come back and then see like this hang time before that movie actually hit the theaters.
That was a great movie.
It's a really good movie. And it was before the whole Iron Man Renaissance.
Yeah, totally.
Downey. So
it was when people still weren't really sure. He was a bit of a wild card. They weren't sure if he was completely rehabbed. But
so, coming fresh off of that, I was all the more hyped for him to take the role when that was announced. So.
Right on. All right, well, it has been a couple minutes, so why don't we just go ahead and dive in. So welcome, everybody, to Sentinels Live. Thank you for joining us around the digital tabletop. Well, we play Sentinels of the Multiverse, but that's not all tonight, and we'll get into that in a minute. But as you all know, the goal of these streams is not only to have fun, but also show you maybe a little bit about how to play the game, as well as possibly covering some strategies that can help you win. As we as the developers, you can always be sure to get some insight into the process, and maybe even see some stuff before anyone else, and that is a foregone conclusion this evening. You are going to be seeing a brand new environment for the video game tonight, known as Omnitron 4. And we'll talk about that a little bit more in a second. The game does include a tutorial that covers the basics, but we always do our best to explain exactly what we're doing, when we do it, and why. And depending on how long it takes for us to win or lose, we sometimes play more than one full game in a session. Episodes are usually somewhere between an hour and 2 hours. And as you know, Sentinels of the Multiverse is currently available for iPad, Android tablets, as well as PC, Mac, and Linux, and of course, in good old cardboard. And you can get the game and more info at sentinelsdigital.com. So tonight you'll notice that what's streaming out is a little different than the usual. What we're looking at here are 2 Kickstarters. On the left, we have Sentinels of the Multiverse, the video game Season 2, and on the right, we have this thing called the Dresden Files cooperative card game from a company called Evil Hat Productions, which we actually have someone from Evil Hat Productions here tonight.
What? Where?
He's here, I swear. I talked to him just minutes ago.
Don't let him on here.
Say hi, Fred.
Hello, everyone.
So that's Fred Hicks from Evil Hat.
I guess I'm the president of Evil Hat. I never really pay much attention to what we've made the titles be lately, but that's what I think it last was. So yes, I'm the president of Evil Hat, and I'm also the guy who runs those Kickstarters, which can be a bit of an Olympic sport. It's my Olympic sport. It's a crappy Olympic sport, but it's mine.
It seems to be at least moderately lucrative Olympic sport.
Yeah, it's doing all right.
Yeah, so as you can see up on the stream here, he was looking for a goal of 48,000. He's up to 328,000. Shades of Oblivion, I'm feeling. They were looking for, I think, 40 before they blasted way past that and got up to 1.5 mil. Is that what you have in your sights, Fred? 1.5 mil?
Oh God, I would love to get up that high, but we're already like well past my sense of what like we truly need for the game, and now it's just a party.
That's awesome.
You know,
That's great. Yeah. So then the other side of the screen, you have, of course, everybody's favorite, Sentinels of the Multiverse, the video game. We just recently crossed 70,000 less than an hour ago. Which was an amazing milestone for us. That was our second squish goal. We showed you how to unlock Gloomweaver Skinwalker the second way. Christopher actually designed 2 different ways to unlock Skinwalker Gloomweaver at 70K, and that puts us less than $10,000 away from fully funded with 9 days to go. So I think we're gonna make it. What do you think, John?
I think we're well on the way.
And
I'm hoping to get into some stretch goals.
Yeah, but before we get to stretch goals, there was something we were talking about, which was that we had a $60,000 squish goal, a $65,000 one, and a 71, but we don't have a 75. So we put it to the community and said, what would be a good $75,000 squish goal? Fred, are you familiar with this idea of squish goals? You may not, since we literally just invented it.
I think I'm a backer of your Kickstarter, but since I'm running mine, my time for reading has been somewhat, shall we say, constrained.
So we, in our amazing foresight of the world at large, invented this amazing concept known as squish goals, which are, because we are a product that's already out and we're kickstarting an expansion to it, we have stuff. Mm-hmm. So we said, what if we had some interesting goals that were sort of pre-funding goals that don't cost us anything, but we know the community wants, and then we can give that to them as a way to sort of work their way up to the main goal. So we've been doing that. Yeah, and it's
I'm getting it.
Yeah. So we came up with this, like, what's the opposite of stretch? Stretch and squish. Stretch and squish. Squish goal. What a great idea. So,
I dig it.
Yeah. So that's what we're going to be working on. If you have ideas, go ahead and post them in the chat. We had a couple also on the comments at the Kickstarter, so we'll look through those and maybe pick a good one by the end of the night or maybe tomorrow morning, depending.
We'll probably go over them as a team. Definitely best you can also post them in the update comments so that we can see them all in one place.
Yeah, that would probably be the safest place to put it.
Discuss amongst yourselves in the chat room as well.
Exactly. So while the chat room is thinking about that, let's talk with Fred a little bit about why he's here tonight. So there was actually a backer of ours and a backer of yours who he's also a beta tester of ours, who basically said, hey, when we actually let our beta testers see our Kickstarter a little bit before we did it, and we said, hey, do you guys have any feedback, any thoughts, any whatever? And this guy Jeff said, hey, I kind of know this guy Fred who does Kickstarters. He might be worth showing your Kickstarter to. So we did, and we talked a little bit about it, and then after the Kickstarters both launched, we realized that you had a conversation, I think, with Christopher about maybe yanking one of the Sentinels heroes into your universe.
Yeah, actually, the original conversation was like, hey, do we want to do like a variant card, maybe for Ra or some other deck that's basically reskinning the deck as Harry Dresden. But because the Oblivion Kickstarter had done what it did, it had that big promise in it of all the variants ever. And that conversation was started past that point. So you can't have all the variants ever if then there is one more variant.
That is a true thing.
We crossed the streams, we reversed the polarity, and instead decided to pull Ra into the Dresden universe instead of sending Harry into the Sentinels universe. We just last night hit the stretch goal that funds the playable Ra deck. This is going to be sort of a urban fantasy inflected version. It's not the strangely costumed sort of superhero version, but more sort of a street level sun god, maybe an avatar, maybe a sun god in hiding, however you want to put it.
So it's a Netflix
like
Daredevil
street level.
Yeah,
street level
so
sun
sort of
god.
that. It's got that kind of a vibe to it. Since he's going to be teamed up with Harry Dresden, because Harry Dresden must always be played in the game. I decided to build this as world's firiest.
Nice.
And because sometimes one wizard throwing fire around isn't enough. You got to bring in a sun god who also throws fire around. And it's been a lot of fun. I ended up doing the initial draft of design on it before passing it through a the tender mercies of the games designer for revising it and making sure that it actually fully worked. But as a fan of Sentinels of the Multiverse game, I wanted to try to get some of those tropes of Ra's deck working in the Dresden Files cooperative card game context. So we have some cool things in there, like the Staff of Ra card is used as the take advantage action in our game, but he can always discard a different card when he plays it instead of the card itself. So, in a sort of Sentinel's way, he can always have the Staff of Ra in his hand for as long as he needs it.
Aha.
And then there's some other things. His stunt is patterned after the Imbued Fire, where he, in Sentinels, that's everybody's attacks become fire attacks and are beefier and so forth. Well, in our game, he can reach into somebody else's discard pile, take one of their attack cards, and put it in his hand. So then he can later play it, with the fiction of that essentially being that he's doing a fire-imbued version of whatever their attack was. And some other stuff like that. Yes, he does have his eye beams, because I couldn't get rid of his eye beams.
Right.
His wrathful gaze.
Yeah, so the people in the stream right now are actually looking at the artwork that you posted on your Kickstarter. Tell us a little bit about someone in our chat actually already said art by Brian D20 Monkey Patterson. But why don't you tell us a little bit about sort of how this piece of artwork came about?
Sure. Well, Adam is busy,
very busy,
as you might imagine. So when I was proposing this, we were trying to figure out how to get the art for it done in a Sentinels of the Multiverse style, because I didn't. But with that urban fantasy inflection, and I have been working with Brian Patterson in a number of contexts. He does some art direction for our company as well, but he's also done artwork for a few of our products, published and unpublished. And I felt like he would probably be able to get Adam's style really well. Or at least, in the ballpark of it. So I cleared that with Chris and Adam, and then we contacted Brian, and I think less than 24 hours later, he excitedly emailed us that concept piece.
Awesome.
And we're going to add a few more details, like his overcoat is going to have some Egyptian detailing in the lapels of it and that sort of thing. So we're definitely going back and forth with the Greater Than Games guys to make sure that the look of the character has a distinctly raw feel of it while being translated into this more sort of urban fantasy street thugs / maybe now maybe not Private Eye, but what was the right way to put it? I'm thinking I'm going to date myself here. But I'm thinking back to the Spencer for Hire show when Hawk showed up.
Sure.
I feel like in this Harry Dresden universe, Ra, if he showed up, would kind of be the Hawk character showing up. He's the slightly more badass guy who does a lot of the same things, but without a Private Eye's license.
Yeah. Huh.
That kind of vibe.
Well, I can say, obviously, if you're working in a game already, so Dresden Files, which is already based on a well-established IP, I can imagine that you would sort of understand a lot of the minefields that come with the idea of adapting something like this. I know obviously with us working with the Sentinels guys, we actually did try to have an artist do some of the Sentinel style with us, and Adam just wasn't happy with it, and so we ended up sort of going a different direction, because he was just like, we got him just comfortable enough with doing the artwork, and then we did it, and he was just like, I thought I was comfortable, but I'm actually not. So, obviously that can be a tricky thing when you're working with somebody else's IP. You got to be really careful and make sure that you're handling it respectfully and really doing it justice. So.
Mm-hmm. Well, luckily I had a good pre-existing relationship with Chris Bedell, and he and Brian were already well known to each other.
Yeah.
So this was sort of a thing of hey, we all know each other. We all kind of have a sense of where we're simpatico. Let's actually fuse this together and make an actual thing happen.
So completely outside of this whole conversation, I was informed by the Greater Than Games team that I actually had dinner with Brian without knowing who he was at PAX, because we were there. We went to the legal test kitchen we walked down there from PAX during setup time, and I had dinner with, it was I think Paul was there and Christopher was there and Brian, and I want to say Lisa. Is that someone that he's
Yes,
with,
I think so.
I believe, and and one other person, and whose name I can't remember, and I apologize. But and I had a great time, and it was fun, and we talked about all kinds of fun stuff. And then it was like a week later that I was like, "Hey, Christopher, I didn't know you guys were going to be doing a crossover with the Dresden Files card game." And he's like, "Hey, it's funny because we didn't really know either until about a week ago." So
yeah, that conversation happened like 48 hours before PAX. They left for PAX East, and 24 hours into that 48-hour time period, Brian sent that concept art over, and then I said, "Well, you're going to see everybody that it's going to need to have approval on that over at PAX East. So why don't you guys talk about character concept there?"
Very cool.
And I guess that's part of why that dinner happened.
Right on. All right. Well, I'm going to take Ra off the screen. We might bring him back a little bit later, and we're going to jump into the game, Sentinels of the Multiverse. You guys have heard of this, right?
Somewhere.
Fun little game. And as promised, we're going to be showing off tonight a new environment, Omnitron 4. Oops, and I only single-clicked on it. I didn't double-click. So here's Omnitron 4. This is the 4th iteration of Omnitron. The first, of course, being the Rogue AI / self-aware robotics factory. The second iteration being Cosmic Omnitron. And what do we know about Cosmic Omnitron, John? Do you remember what I told you about this? Or maybe you already knew about it.
I don't know what you're referring to.
So Cosmic Omnitron was brought back. Basically, when Omnitron was defeated, Cosmic Omnitron was recreated by Oblivion. That is what has slipped out, actually. Christopher Bedell snuck that little nugget in to teach me a little bit about some more of the lore, because obviously one of the things that people love about Sentinels is that there is this really huge overarching story underneath it all, and you're just sort of piecing it together as things come together. And that's what Cosmic Omnitron is the second iteration of Omnitron as reborn by Oblivion. Then Omnitron 3 is what, the Omniblade, is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, so that
was Baron Blade's work.
Yes, so Baron Blade tried to turn that into a thing that he used. I believe it's in the Vengeance Baron Blade deck, which will become a reality if you back us on Kickstarter. And then Omnitron 4 is now this environment in which we're going to play. So tell me, John, I mean, I assume, knowing what I know about Omnitron, I can guess what's going to happen in this environment, but I have never played in this environment. So tell me what to expect.
You should expect devices and drones and components.
That sounds
and
about right.
Cards that talk about those things. So there are lots of interesting interactions with both Omnitron's deck and Omnitron itself, as well as Omnitron X.
I believe that. So I think...
Yeah. It plays a lot... It has a way of playing a lot of cards.
Okay.
And causing itself to play more cards. So it's a bit of a... It has a feeling of a factory that's out of control.
Gotcha. Cool. All right, so I know which hero I want to play tonight because being the robot master that she is, I'm definitely going to play some iteration of Unity. I haven't decided if I'm going to play Freedom 6 yet or regular Unity. But I think which Omnitron we're going to take on, we're going to leave to the chat. So chat, let us know if you want us to take on Omnitron or Omnitron 2, a.k.a. Cosmic Omnitron. Whatever you guys vote, we're going to use our typical voting things, which is, I think we're going to say the first one that gets 3 votes is going to be the one that we play tonight. And I will let you two gentlemen choose who you're going to play.
Well, we were talking about Ron. It would seem to be it would be a shame if somebody didn't play him. I also noticed that you have a variant here. It's saying locked for me. That's fine.
Well, you can click on it and unlock it.
Oh, well. Membership has its privileges.
Actually, there's a question in the chat, and I had the same question, which was, is the Ra coming to Dresden Files, is that Blake Washington, or is it a different person?
I haven't been disabused of the notion of it being a Blake Washington character, but that's the sort of thing that may evolve over the course of going back and forth about the art.
Very interesting.
So
it looks like it's...
Ultimately, I don't want to step on Chris's toes as far as establishing story, even if it's story happening in a different leg of the multiverse, as it were.
That makes sense. So it looks like it was Cosmic Omnitron in a walk. Yeah, that definitely seems to be the everybody's all excited to see Cosmic Omnitron, which I can, who can blame them? Cosmic Omnitron is a slightly crazier Omnitron.
Cosmic Omnitron is a pain in the ass.
I guess the only question we have yet to answer is, do we want to play Advanced or Regular? On Advanced, on his front side, his Cosmic-powered Exterminator side, he reduces damage dealt to devices by 1. And on his flip side, his Sentient Dropship increases damage dealt by devices by 1. So now, John, being familiar with Omnitron 4, tell me how that's going to affect the game, also with Omnitron X.
So Omnitron 4 has devices in its deck. So I don't think we should play Advanced number 1.
That's true. And actually, usually when we first show off a new thing, we don't usually play Advanced, although I don't know that there's any rules about that with environments.
Cosmic Omnitron is pretty nasty without the Advanced option.
That is true.
Yeah. The really critical thing with Cosmic Omnitron is on the flip side. Whenever a drone enters play the top card of the villain deck.
Right.
Well, guess what Omnitron 4 does? It also plays drones.
Aha! So this could get out of control pretty quickly, is what you're saying.
Really quick.
Yes, because yeah.
Now, is this the order of play we want for the heroes?
I'm still stuck on which Unity I should play. So obviously, Freedom 6 Unity, her whole thing is that she doesn't have to destroy equipment, but she damages herself to get golems in play.
Right.
In this matchup, do we think that that's a positive or a negative? The one thing I was thinking about is that on her, when she's incapacitated, she gets to destroy a non-character card device card. And I realized that thinking ahead for when I'm going to be incapacitated probably doesn't bode well. But I know that like this was one of those cards that I played a few times, and I was like, oh, that's an interesting incapacitated ability. I've not seen that before.
Yeah.
So I don't know. What do you think? Yeah, I see one vote for Vanilla Unity.
As long as Omnitron goes ahead of Unity, then I can time shift Unity more effectively.
It's a fair point.
And would that be in support of Vanilla Unity?
Either, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Okay.
I'm trying to remember if Cosmic Omnitron is going to do such horrible things to what cards you're getting out there that will Vanilla Unity be commonly in a situation that will make trouble for her getting golems out in this fashion versus the other fashion. I don't know if that made any sense.
It's the same deck as regular Omnitron. It doesn't do anything sort of extra in terms of destroying your stuff that regular Omnitron does. So the environment destroys equipment, and not equipment all the time. So that's something to go for.
That'll be interesting.
All right.
I would just go with whatever you want, Jeremy.
Yep, I'm doing Golem. All right. Freedom 6
then
Unity.
I think we're ready.
We've got Omnitron versus Omnitron at Omnitron with special guest star Fred Hicks.
Also known as Omnitron.
Also known as Omnitron. Omnitron
Yes.
12. All right. Go ahead and hit ready, and we'll get going. There was a question in the chat, is there music yet for Omnitron? And unfortunately, the answer for that is no. And thank you for reminding me that, because that reminds me that I have not put any music in place. So let me get some music going real quick. Tell you what, I'm going to Onward. And John, I'm going to put up each of these characters. You tell me what they have played while I go search for music.
I don't understand that, but I will.
So you read off what what everybody has, basically, the way that I usually do.
But they won't see it.
I'm going to do it as you say it. While I'm looking for music.
So Omnitron X has adaptive plating subroutine. No, wait, that's not. Reactive plating subroutine. Of course, a riff on Omnitron's card. Which will react if he gets dealt damage of a type reduced by plating. A couple of resets, which are to draw and reshuffle and play, and then a technological advancement to look for a card. Unity's got a B-Bot, a Inspired Repair, similar to Reset, Raptorbot, and Robot Reclamation. Whereas Ra, Horus of Two Horizons, has an Excavation, Flesh of the Sun God, Imbued Fire, and the Staff of Ra. Is there a Flesh of the Sun God in the Dresden Files version?
There is. I forget what it does, but there is. Oh yeah, I think it's his lesser overcome card with Scorched Earth being the greater one.
I feel like the Flesh of the Sun God is probably kind of like bacon.
It's crispy and golden.
Very nice.
All right, have you got your music sorted, Jeremy?
Almost. Just about got the music sorted.
I can tell you what will happen when you press start game.
All right, chat, you should be hearing Time Cataclysm playing. If you're not hearing that, let me know.
You can press start game. The game syncs up automatically. So he plays components first off, and then plays another component.
All right, so I'm seeing 2 interpolation beams and an electromagnetic railgun. Is that what you guys are seeing?
Yes. There's a question from the chat. Question from the chat about when are we going to get termination cards. They will come when they come. Question: will we ever get a chance to play with multiple copies of the same hero? That is not something that I expect to ever happen because it is a game-breaking thing. It is not supported at all.
Yeah, it is. Except I want to answer actually both of those as John is asking. So wait, what was the first question again? I was reading it and then it disappeared at the top of my screen.
When some variants are coming out.
Right. That's right. So we actually are going to be talking about this a little bit more as the Kickstarter comes on. But variants are going to be decoupled from major releases. And so what that means...
The music is too loud.
Oh, the music is too loud. Okay, I can fix that. All right, let me know if that's a little bit better. I just took it down to 8%, so that should be good. The variants are going to be decoupled from major releases. For a while, it was like, oh, we're going to definitely release X variants with this particular expansion, et cetera, et cetera. But there's so many still to do. There's more than 40 still to do, and we've only released like 20. So basically, we're going to just start releasing variants whenever we have time to do them, is really what it boils down to. So, you know, because a lot of this has to do with Adam's art schedule. As we said earlier, Adam's art schedule is a little crazy right now. And we didn't want him to be stuck. So we're basically going to be doing variants on their own schedule. So sometimes they'll come with major releases, sometimes they'll be on their own, sometimes we'll release a point update that'll just have variants in it, you'll see. But we're not really specifically talking about when stuff is going to come just yet. So, all right. Rewind.
Yes, and further on the playing multiple copies of the same hero, there are many aspects of doing that completely break the game. And you can try to work around them on the tabletop, but it's not anything that a video game can really do in the same way.
Yeah, it would be exceedingly difficult. Like, it's the kind of thing that if we raised $500,000 on the Kickstarter, we'd consider it. So get on that.
So get on that. Can we rewind because I did a stupid?
You know how to do that, Fred?
So,
yes, I clicked meanwhile, and then I clicked the back. I just had missed that's what I needed to do.
And then play a card on Omnitron X. There we go.
Perfect.
Yeah, so he's got 2 interpolation beams, which means I would get a bunch.
That's got me really excited about my variant ability here, too.
Well, the first thing I'm going to do is protect myself from that, so good luck with whatever your guys' plan is. 0, 0. Excellent.
What did I even start with? I got a B-Bot, a Raptor Bot, Inspired Repair, Robot, Reclamation. Okay.
All right. I'm going to reveal the top card of Unity's deck. Would you like Platform Bot in play or in the trash?
What to do, what to do.
Yes, I want to draw a card and take 0 damage. That Nemesis damage would be rough.
Alright, so let's see here. I have no good cards to play, so I'm going to skip. What does the Railgun do again? I'm one of those people that still doesn't have all the cards memorized, so... Start with villain turn. Omnitron deals the 2 hero targets with the highest HP 2 projectile damage each. Destroy this when Omnitron is dealt 7 or more damage. Okay, so if I... sacrifice myself a little bit right now to get Raptorbot out. I can do the lion's share of that Sembit damage right now.
Okay.
I like that idea. And I'm going to skip drawing a card for now. Boom. 6 damage.
Okay.
Some people are talking about America's Cleverest Legacy. If you want America's Cleverest Legacy, you need to talk to Christopher and convince him, and good luck with that.
Yeah, he has explicitly said that America's Cleverest Legacy was just a thing for the ARG and that it would never be a real card. Now, to be fair, I have had several conversations with Christopher where he has said, blah, 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 never, and then a thing has come to pass. That's not to say that you could actually convince him to release a Cleverest Legacy, but if you want to try, I didn't tell you to do that.
I like using the Staff of Ra as a 4 damage one-shot.
Yeah.
And hey, it gets rid of all those components.
Uh-huh.
Unless we were
So
playing
like,
on challenge
everything
mode.
else I can do. Ooh, it's card draws or other things that don't do damage. Why don't I just get rid of all of that stuff?
Imagine if we were playing on challenge mode and only one of those components was destroyed right there.
All right, so we have a device.
Why do you hate me?
You want to take a look at this card, Jeremy?
So internal defense grid. It's a 10 hit point target. It's a device. At the end of the environment turn, this card deals each non-device target 2 energy damage. Whenever a non-device target enters play, this card deals that target 1 energy damage. So obviously this is Omnitron taking care of Omnitron.
Yep. That's going to be hitting your bots, basically.
Wah, wah.
Fun times.
Bye,
Hi,
Mr.
Bot.
Jumps. Oh, and the sedative flechettes come out early. That's not great.
Well, at least we didn't have any ongoing stuff.
That's true. We hadn't really set up much, so I guess it's it's not as bad as it could have been. There goes my platform bot.
That's sort of the Omnitron theme. Oh, it sucks. Okay. At least it didn't suck a lot.
Now they're quoting Christopher. Blah, 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 never.
Oh man, I'm gonna hear about that. I have a feeling.
Yep.
I'm gonna get a Slack message from tomorrow. So hey, Jeremy, on your stream last night, did you say something about me? No, Christopher, I have no idea what
Maybe
you're talking
keep
about.
watching.
He might be.
Okay, so we're actually not in too bad shape here. He luckily did not play like an infinite sequence of drones.
Yep.
Yay!
And we can draw cards without repercussion. So I'm going to do that.
I'm a big fan of resetting into a reset into a reset, personally.
I am not a big fan of that because your resets end up in the trash and you can't get them back.
Ah.
Don't do that. Especially when you have a
Fun.
technological advancement. And interestingly, so if I play a component, he's going to flip back instead of chaining. So I'm going to do that.
Nice.
Unless the environment destroys my component, which might happen.
So Locking Can't says in the chat, hey, Handelabra Games, could you release variants like the weekly one-shots? Basically, release a story or scenario that's related to the unlock. That way we can get a cover in-game that represents the achievement. That is an interesting idea, which Jean-Marc says. Write that down somewhere, Jean-Marc, so we don't forget that as an idea, because I think that actually is a really interesting idea.
Yeah. Of course, variants are like 100 times more work than a weekly one-shot.
Right, I think, but
Individually.
yes, but especially if we are going to be like let's say we know, we're going to be releasing X variant, at certain time, put together, get their variant out and then release a weekly one shot sort of themed towards that. So it's not a bad idea.
Would you like to play a card at the start of your turn?
Let's
Probably.
see. Yeah, sure.
There's no reason to not play this. So
All right. Yes. And should I get both of those guys back from the trash? Or should I just get B-Bot into play?
you don't have to.
Repair. does not actually heal her.
No.
You got plenty of other bots coming. I'm not sure.
Well, you
need
can
to
use
do the
robot
reclamation
reclamation, right?
That's what I was saying. Is
You
if I
can play
robot reclamation, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get.
Well, I would play B button and play robot reclamation, but that's okay.
Oh yeah, that's actually You're right. Rewind. That rewind was such a great idea.
Oh yeah.
We didn't have it when we were first working on the game.
That's true.
We added it in after beta feedback.
Imagine you did.
Alright, so we get out the B-bot.
Many games don't have anything like that. Oh, and then B-bot dies right away.
Yeah, so should I hit? Why? I mean, that was what was going to happen because as soon as it comes into play. But who do I want to hit? I think is the question. That defense grid is going to be tricky.
B-bot's going to destroy the defense grid, so don't hit the defense grid.
Oh, right, because that can destroy it. Yeah, so what's Ra going to do?
What's Ra going to do?
That's a fine question.
I'm glad you bring it up.
Yeah. Well, Omnitron doesn't have anything adaptive out yet, so Imbued Fire could be an interesting play. Or I could just hit with the Fire Blast or dig through my deck a lot.
Yeah, so if I hit Omnitron for 2, then and you could just get rid of the repair drone with Fire Blast.
Yeah, that's probably the way to go.
Yeah, repair drone's actually one of the only drones I bother hitting because it heals Omnitron and it can do so exponentially.
Yeah.
Indeed.
All right. Boop. Boop. And
I would like to echo what people are saying in chat, though, about America's Cleverest Legacy. The work that people did to make it a playable card as a fan effort was pretty cool.
It absolutely was. Not to mention the fact that I think there were a couple of fans that managed to show that they could probably throw together some solid Sentinels art if given the opportunity.
Yep.
I just got a notification that Jean-Marc made a card for that thing I asked him to write down. That's good. Thank you, Jean-Marc.
That's what you do when you use Trello.
All right, so Locking It says, I saw the YouTube advertisement of the game coming to smartphones. Does Handle Our Games have pricing in mind? It's a universal app, so it's going to be the same price as the iPad app, and it is not going to be an additional purchase. So if you already own it for iPad, you will then also own it for iPhone. It is not going to be a separate app. Whoa.
And same thing.
Okay, hang on. Before that terraforming. Oh, and I wanted to. I'm going to hop into his into the environment trash and pull that up.
He's reacting.
Yep. All right, hang on. Let's meanwhile real quick, and then I want to pop that open. So we got a partial Omnidrone, 30 hit points. We didn't really get to see it. When this card enters play, remove 25 hit points from it. At the start of the environment turn, it regains 3 HP. At the end of the environment turn, this card deals each non-device target 3 lightning damage. What an interesting mechanic. I have not seen this card before. As mentioned, that I haven't played in this environment.
Heals up.
Yeah, what a cool idea. I'm really bummed that it got taken out by terraforming right away.
And it's a nemesis, too. That's an interesting one. But yeah, so that entered play, and because it was a drone, Cosmic Omnitron played a card, which was terraforming, which destroyed it. Basically, Cosmic Omnitron was like, there can be only one.
Oh, good.
So Real Fan Fanatic asks, is there a demo for Android? What you saw in that video is the current working prototype for mobile, which is both Android and iOS. As we test, we are testing on both because our game is built in such a way and is already released in such a way that it is on Steam, it's on Android, it's on Apple, you name it. So what you saw in that video was actually captured from Unity, but we have had it running on both Android and iOS devices.
I think Real Fan Fanatic is asking, is there a demo for Android? And the answer is yes. It's called Sentinels Learn to Play Edition. Don't play my turn for me.
Oh.
I'm answering a question.
Sorry about that. I saw someone vote, so I voted because I'm a sheeple.
You can go and find the link for Learn to Play on Android and post it in the chat as penance. Like the demo for Steam. Yeah, so search for Sentinels Learn to Play and it should come up. Or Jeremy's going to post it. We'll see. Let's see if he does.
If I spelled that right. I did
spelled
not.
it
I did
so
not
wrong.
spell it wrong.
Learn.
Yeah, so it's learn to play.
Good. And I'm at the start of my turn, so I can technologically advance into.
So someone says our Kickstarter tracker is behind. What does that mean?
I don't know.
Sanvar says the Kickstarter tracker is behind.
I don't know what that is.
Behind me right now! Ah!
Oh, he's talking to, I understand what he's talking about. He's saying that the Safari window I have open is not caught up.
Oh.
I think, you know what? I think I know why that is. Let's set that up. There we go.
You guys want heal bots or damage doing? I think we want damage doing.
Deal all the damage!
Just plasma cannon.
Rocket punch!
Why is that behind?
I think it's going to be disruptive flechettes, actually, to get rid of that business. I'm putting a B-bot into play for you. You're welcome.
Thank you. I'm trying to figure out why Game Show is not capturing this screen thing properly. But I'll take a break from that to see what's happening here. All right, Inspired Repair is my only card play possibility.
I thought you liked to play Reset all the time. Why don't you like to play that all the time?
I do. I just don't have that as an option right now. Because
What do you
I'm
mean?
not playing that deck.
You have... I said Inspired Repair is just like Reset. You like to play that all the time.
Oh,
Why don't
yes.
you automatically play Inspired Repair?
I was doing the whole thing about like, well, let's see, I'm going to waste the healing capacity of that card. I do like that card. Reset doesn't have a healing capacity, so...
If you really have nothing else to do, it's probably still worth playing.
Yeah. So now do I take the damage to get out some more damage dealing? That's 2 instances of dealing damage, which we know I'm a big fan of dealing the damage, but some of it is to myself.
I would do it.
Yeah. And given the current state of the field, I would probably go for Platform Bot over Raptor Bot.
Yep.
Just because Platform Bot has that inherent damage reduction. So then the only question is, do I get that drone out of the way? Or...
We did vote in favor of getting rid of the other repair gun earlier.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do on your turn, though?
You asking me?
You could take out the drone with Living Conflagration, potentially.
It's true, I could. I would be happy to do so.
And then we wouldn't waste that 1 point of damage.
Fly.
You were getting lots of cards, but you must discard.
Let's see here. What do I want to discard for the second thing? I don't feel like we're going to be doing too much with the Wrathful Gaze right off, so I'm just going to get rid of that for now.
That is a pretty situational card.
Yep.
It can be very useful. When
Hey,
you
chat, are you guys hearing music? Let me know if you are.
Oh, those B-bots can't stay awake. Alright, so I would suggest that B-bot goes first so that volatile parts will hit Omnitron instead of the Techno Pursuer, which B-bot is going to destroy. And for Techno Pursuer, actually, yeah, you want Bebot to go first so that it won't play the top card of the environment deck. I guess we haven't brought up Techno Pursuer yet, have we, on screen?
I will do that in just 1 second. I'm getting this thing squared away here. I'll be with you in 1 second. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Fixed. All right. So, Techno Pursuer. Device, drone. At the end of the environment turn, this card deals the non-device target with the lowest HP X energy damage, where X equals the number of drone cards in play plus 1. Whenever this card destroys a target, play the top card of the environment deck.
So it just destroyed a target, and we have 3 things that care about Bebot being destroyed. There's Bebot, all the parts, and the Techno Pursuer.
All right, so
So
in
what
terms
I was-
of order of damage, or order of effects, if we do Bebot first, it can hit Omnitron and then destroy Techno Pursuer, and then volatile parts can go off and hit Omnitron. Am I
Exactly.
parsing that correctly? Fantastic.
That is probably the best thing you could do. The worst thing you could probably do is let Techno Pursuer go first.
They hear music. Okay, good. Yeah, destroy the Techno
Unless you
Pursuer.
want to see more cards from Omnitron 4 cause terrible things to
I mean, I
us.
kind of do want to see that, but I can understand
Oh,
why.
drone avalanche.
Uh-oh. Oh, but he's not on the other side because I have components and those stop him from flipping.
Aha!
So it's not a
I love interactions like that.
Yeah,
Just
that's one
played
of
his
those things.
finger.
Like the more decks we add to Sentinels, I mean, obviously people on the tabletop know that how this stuff goes, but especially like you should you should really see what our testing board for guys looks like, because like when you talk about how it's really
There's a separate list for cards that are just about guys, and there's like 40 of them.
yeah, guys is guys is guys. It's good stuff.
I love that deck. Every time you play it, you see the entire deck.
Yeah, it's really cool, and we're planning on lots of cool stuff, special for guys in the interface as well.
I would imagine you'd have to.
I clicked myself accidentally, but it's a good one, so I'm going to play it. I think I'll get a drone healing card out. Or not a drone, but a golem.
Yeah, Harbinger 00
Hopefully-
says it's crazy how complex this game can get. And honestly, that's one of the things that I think, like, you know, when I was at PAX, a lot of people would be like, oh, it's a card game. So, like Magic? And I'm like, well, if by like Magic you mean uses cardboard, then yes, it's exactly like Magic. But in almost every other conceivable way, in my opinion, it is almost nothing like Magic. There's so much different about a game like this, where not only is it cooperative, which in and of itself is so different from Magic, but then there's also the question of like all these interactions where it's like, if this is in play and this effect is in play and this is happening and this environment is doing X, Y, and Z, like, yeah.
Have you played Magic?
I have. I couldn't get into it. I played it for like
Magic does have a lot of
Magic
card
has-
interactions.
Yeah.
maybe a lot of card
Magic
interactions,
is
but
very complicated interactions.
okay, and that's fair enough. I mean, I played it for like,
Actually, like my shorthand for people who have never heard of Sentinels, who know board games, is it's like co-op Magic with superheroes. That's a great starting point.
yeah. See, and
Yeah,
here's
I was going to say it's like Magic, only you don't hate your friends afterwards.
There's that too.
yeah. So like, maybe this betrays my lack of experience when it comes to those kinds of things. But when I sat down to play Magic, I played it for a few on the tabletop, but I mostly tried to play the digital version on my Xbox. And really, what I realized was not sort of suited to my temperament for Magic was after playing through like the first like 4 like training missions, and it was like, okay, now let's build a deck, and I was like, like that part of it was the part that I was just like, oh, good, so I can be an accountant. Like, I'm an accountant at work. I don't need to be an accountant when I'm playing my games too. Like with Sentinels,
I
it's
know.
like, give me a deck that I already know how it's going to work, and I can learn how it works, and not that I have to change out 3 cards, and now all of a sudden everything about how that deck works is completely different. I don't know. That's just me.
I played the digital version of Magic too, and I also have no interest in deck building, and so I just press the button which says automatically make my deck good, which doesn't really do that, but I don't have to do anything else.
That's true.
So
All right. I'm getting low on HP.
Yeah. You're still in double digits.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it one more time because that's just the way I play. And
I'll heal you on my turns.
Get one of these raptor bots out. And what are you gonna do, Ra? Should I take out any of these guys, or what? Or get them down low enough that you can hit them with like a?
Oh, you keep expecting me to think ahead. Well, how many targets do they have out there? Because I do have Inferno coming, but that's a tiny bit of damage each, and I don't have my boosters up yet.
Well, so that's what I was gonna say. Is I could probably take both repair drone and assault drone down to 1.
Oh well, if you got them down to 1, Inferno is a great card for me to play.
Yeah, and then you can Inferno, take the big damage against Omnitron, and take the other 2 out.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like that idea.
Right.
All right, since I fixed everything, now it looks like our Kickstarter thing is updating properly on the stream. Do you guys see that as well? Wait, maybe not. Let me push the button, and then maybe now you'll see it. There we go. So we're at 7722.
The deck building game is like Magic, but with everything different.
Yeah, we actually were joking around in the office the other day that like something had happened, and I think it was in testing, and someone said, "Well, that's a complex interaction," and I said, "We need to make complex interaction the complex interaction game."
That would be a great.
Speaking of complex interactions, take a look at this card.
Yes. All right. So overcharge systems. Let's read that here. At the start, all start of turn effects during the environment turn also act at the end of the environment turn. At the end of the environment turn, each player may discard any number of cards. If at least 5 cards are discarded this way, destroy this card.
So we're lucky that there were no other cards in play when this came out.
Indeed.
So we can get rid of it pretty easily, especially because Ra has like a zillion cards in hand.
I have a zillion cards, and I can give myself a zillion more. So yeah, I should just discard as much as I'm comfortable discarding.
All right. So we'll do you first.
I can easily discard a couple as well.
Yeah,
or actually, I have a bioengineering
well,
team which I can just use if we want.
As much as I like imbued fire, I think I'm going to toss both of those because the likelihood that Omnitron at some point will decide to be immune to fire.
I could
act very poorly.
just use my bioengineering team to destroy that card instead of discarding anything.
Oh, so do you want me not to discard anything?
Yeah, let's not discard.
Happy to do that.
I'll bioengineering beam it.
Celinda says, "Gosh, I hope the preview pack becomes a thing. If we keep moving at the pace we've been moving over the last couple days, the preview pack will definitely become a thing."
So what's your daily take on the Kickstarter been like?
Say it again?
What is your daily take on the Kickstarter been averaging?
It really has kind of been all over the map. Our sort of general average is between 2,000 and 2,500, but we've had a couple of outlier days, like we had a couple $5,000 days. Yours looks like
How much time do you have left? I'm sorry,
we have 9 days left.
Yeah, you're fine. I mean, that's not even counting for the 48-hour final surge that you're likely to get.
Exactly, and that's why, I was chatting with Paul from Greater Than Games today, and he basically said your most important goal is you need to be over your funding goal before the 48 hours hit, because that's the most important thing. But if we can get to it in the next couple of days, important. Like over the weekend maybe, and then we've got the whole last 5 days, that whole last week, to just hit those stretch goals, hit some stretch goals, that would be really sweet.
I am putting millions of cards into play because I am Omnitron X.
That's exciting.
And I'm zapping Omnitron.
Down to 60. It's really not bad. All right, I am not going to hit myself this time.
What?
Come on. Think about how much damage those Raptor bots are going to do.
Oh, fine. You convinced me. I I mean, it's a good point. It really is a good point. I mean, Raptor bots are gonna do they get more dangerous as they grow. All right, should I use this last one to get rid of the automaton, or what's Ra gonna do?
Nah, just hit Omnitron.
All right.
Nope.
He's only doing
I'm
3
gonna
damage.
throw all sorts of stuff out there. Just hit.
Cytosine says you guys deserve all the support. You build a really, really solid product. Thank you. We try. You're making me blush.
Sure. Oh wait.
Oh, there's no environment
Never
cards.
mind. That's not what I wanted at all.
Wah, wah.
Oops.
So there's some confusion in the chat. There are 2 art packs, $5 each. One is for the foil heroes, and one is for the foil villains. It echoes the Oblivion Kickstarter collector's foil card situation. Yeah, we're at 7747. That's a nice number. I like it.
Yep. Some folks have been asking what the foils will look like. That's something we're figuring out, but we definitely want them to look cool. We're looking at other games that do foils in digital form as well, and so we want to beat them, obviously.
Yes, foils will go on sale through the usual channels sometime later this year when they're not complete. The foil packs are going to work the same way that a season pass works, which is that we're going to the cards that are already in game, we will implement those foils first, and then as we continue to add more decks as time goes on, we will add more foils to the foil packs that will update automatically.
Raptor bot!
All right, let's read this Techno Pursuer. 5 HP target, device drone. At the end of the environment turn, this card deals the non-device target with the lowest HP, X energy damage, where X equals the number of drone cards in play plus 1. Whenever this card destroys a target, play the top card of the environment deck. Let's see what we're going to get. The foil cards will fit in sleeves. No, this is Raptor Bot. And the tiebreaker!
So we don't have a helpful B-bot this time, so it's just gonna happen. Playing the top card. Oh, resource recycler.
Let's read that guy.
Always
That's
fun.
a component. At the start of each turn, if the top card of the trash pile associated with that turn is an equipment card or device card, put it into play. At the end of the
And
environment
so
turn...
this is one of the in our FAQ, and we've gotten questions of like, why do I have to decide what order I destroy cards? What does it matter? It's because of this card. Because the top card of your trash matters now. Go ahead.
At the end of the environment
At the end
turn,
of the environment.
put a drone card from the environment trash into play. So, Techno Pursuer or Partial Omnidrone. We haven't seen how Partial Omnidrone plays yet.
We don't want Techno Pursuer because he's going to destroy a Raptor Bot and play another card.
Aha.
If we can hop on partial Omnitron fast enough, it's not going to be that much of a concern, right?
Yeah, well, and it's going to hit Omnitron for Nemesis damage, so that's not so bad. Oh, actually, no, it only hits non-device targets well.
Yeah.
It'll hit me, and then I will hit back. But not enough to kill it, so should I just hit Omnitron? Probably.
Well, and are both of... No, that's going to go down, but the Raptor Bot's going to go, and that'll let me hit... yeah.
Oh, I guess I could have... We rewind, we can destroy the Omni drone and avoid Unity taking damage.
Oh!
How do we do that? What am I rewinding to play card?
End of turn, Omnitron 4.
End of turn. Midnight XLII XLE says, with the foil packs, will it be a player-by-player choice? Yes, it will. Each player, in multiplayer, each player will be able to choose which card they want to play with for that game. If you own the foil pack, you'll have 3 choices. If you don't own the foil pack, you will get 1 choice. And everyone in that multiplayer game will get to see what everybody else picks. So whatever it is that is being played will be visible to all players.
Alright, so we put the Omni drone. And the Omnidrone hits Omnitron. And I hit the Omnidrone, making it the lowest HP. And then we hit Raptor Bot. And then Unity will destroy that. There we go. We fixed the timeline.
Yay!
And now
Except that's
Resource
what
Recycler plays drones from Omnitron.
Drone. One shot, destroy all equipment. Technological.
Next join in play, but didn't show up properly, I think. Oh god, I'm dead. I'm definitely dead.
Yeah, that was bad.
Well,
This went poorly.
This
That
isn't
was
at all
quite
how
a
we
turn.
wanted this to go.
Please enjoy all the damage.
I enjoyed it. And now I have the flip side of my card, which is, yeah, pretty much. Alright, one player may draw a card, one player may play a card. Select a target, reduce damage dealt to that target by 1.
That
I
seems.
think we should allow Unity to play. I guess, well, Unity can play a card, but she's probably gonna die.
She is, but like I could deal a bunch of damage before I'm gone.
Right. Or would you rather
boy.
have Rog get set up to survive?
Well, and so this is what we were talking about.
What an optimist.
So Unity does have that destroy a non-character card device card in capability. So if we know that she's going out, you know, have her do whatever she needs to do to get that done, and then when she's in cap, she can start clearing some stuff out. A bit. I mean, she's not going to win the game single-handedly or anything, but...
Alright.
Ooh. That's interesting. Ah, if only it would have been a stealth bot. Alright, so what do we think? Am I just going to focus damage Omnitron?
Sure.
Yeah, so someone in the chat has brought us back around to the concept of the Dresden Files. So one of the questions that was sort of on my list of things I wanted to ask you was, why Dresden Files? Like, were you a fan of it from way back, and or you know, how did that all happen?
Well, actually, I knew Jim Butcher before he published Stormfront, which is the first book in the series. I spent a year deciding not to pursue the graduate degree that I was pursuing in Oklahoma, and at the time I was living about an hour and a half north of him. You know, we knew each other through online play on a text-based thing called a mush, he said, "Hey, why don't you come down and play my D&D game?" You know, we hit it off, and I remember him printing out the class project in his fiction writing course called Semi-Auto Magic, which was later renamed to Stormfront, on his dot matrix printer. Again, dating myself. You know, flash forward a number of years, he ended up calling me and asking if me and my business partner Rob wanted to do a role-playing game based on the Dresden Files. This is back in 2005. And you know, after I picked my jaw off the floor, that's basically the event that triggered us forming Evil Hat as a actual company, as opposed to just like a label we were running our games under. And you know, things just kind of rolled forward from there. You know, we spent the past 10 years building the company up. Got the Dresden Files role-playing game released in 2010. After you know, that got the company a little bit more budget to do things, we started looking at things beyond role-playing games. And that winding path eventually got us to doing the Rosenfeld's Cooperative Card Game. So
that's interesting. So two things. Number one, the way that you sort of hooked up with him is oddly similar to how John and I hooked up to form Handelabra, which is kind of cool. Like we were like online buddies that we played Rock Band and Halo together, and we're like, maybe we should start a company. Wouldn't that be interesting? But the other thing that I really am curious about is, like, did you know him when he was in the process of licensing Dresden Files out to the Sci-Fi Channel to make that show? And what was that process like? Because I know that it's kind of notorious that show did not turn out in a way that was...
It wasn't quite what we were looking for.
Yes. I mean, I watched it and I liked it. I liked it better after I saw what the original pilot was supposed to be. But yeah, that would be an interesting bit of insight.
Yeah, I need to look at something. Alright. Well, it's not quite where I want it, but if I could get Scorched Earth out there and do 2 damage to pretty much everything. But that's not, 3 damage to everything, what I'd more enjoy. I'll answer your thing in a bit, I just don't want to...
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Talk and also return. See, I keep coming back to Flame Barrier because God knows I'm going to have damage coming my way.
That's true. It's nice to have the barrier and
around.
The staff. So.
Yeah, I know. The problem is I've kind of been running behind in terms of getting all of my stuff out there. I think I should probably get the staff down now, even though it's going to mean I'm going to be low on the damage output this turn. But I'm not sure we can afford for me to be low on the damage output.
Yeah, it'll help keep you alive to have another turn.
Well, and the other thing to keep in mind is that depending on what kind of damage is going to be coming our way, I've got a volatile part. So if we can sacrifice those platform bots, we can throw some hurt on them before Unity's gone. I don't know if that's a real thing or not, but it looks like it could be.
Yeah, except Unity's going to get killed by the Techno Pursuer.
Oh.
Because she's the lowest.
Alright, it's going to get interesting.
And there's the partial Omnidrone again.
Oh God. Well, this is exciting.
So
that does damage based on the number of drones in play +1.
So, John, I just wanted to, I don't know if this is a bug or an odd interaction, but
there we go.
When the partial Omni drone came out, I heard a healing sound when it went from 30 to 5.
Because it gained HP because it happened at the start of the turn.
Oh, I see. So it gained HP and then lost HP?
It got set to 5 and then gained 3 HP.
Okay, well, in that case, all I saw was 5. So...
Yeah, there's a display glitch in the HP.
Aha!
The healing sound was correct.
Got it.
Anyway, yeah, I was not super involved with his conversations with Sci-Fi about any of that. I mean, part of the problem with getting much of an insider's look at that stuff is that media deals like that are under 5 million NDAs.
Yeah.
So there's only so much, but in part because of that prior relationship with Jim, I had actually started a fan site which eventually became his official website back before he got his first book out, but when he had his deal signed, because I wanted to support my friend and all that. So I've gotten to see how the traffic to his site has changed with each sort of milestone.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was him doing well as a promising a guy that was helping to define the urban fantasy genre in novels, and then James Marsters did the audiobooks a few years later, and that was an uptick of significance. And then the TV show came along, and that was another big uptick. So as far as I was concerned, good or bad, first episode airs, that happens for Jim's traffic. The show's done its job at that point.
Right.
you know, had it turned into you know, something better and longer running, I would have been more excited about that, obviously. But to the extent that it by existing drove a lot of traffic to his novels, I consider it an unalloyed win.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting because, like, you know, one of the things that there were a couple of reasons why it took us 2 years from the time we started pursuing them to the time they finally said yes, that Greater Than Games allowed us to make the Sentinels of the Multiverse video game. And part of it was this question of you know, rights and licensing and what the actual deal entitles the licensor to do with the property. And, you know, we basically showed them through working with them to do Sentinel Sidekick and some other kinds of things that we could be exactly the kind of trusted partner that they would want to bring this over into the digital realm. You know, to the point where, you know, I've already bounced the idea off of them like, hey guys, you know what would be cool? A Sentinels of the Multiverse fighting game. And they're actually not like, no, you're going to ruin everything we've ever done. They actually were like, that's an interesting idea. Let's circle back to that in a year or so once we see how things are going. You know, and that, you know, a lot of that comes from, you know, when you create something that you love, you don't want to see somebody mess it up. And I completely understand that. And it, you know, it's tricky, you know, like I'm sure Marvel these days is really excited about what's happening. You know, now that they're, you know, you got Spider-Man saying like, oh, let's actually play in your universe. And, you know, Deadpool's working out well. Yeah. But there's been some dark times with those properties that I'm sure some of the creators of Marvel were just indeed. Like, oh man, what are you doing with my characters? So.
Well, I mean, that's part of why Jim came to me for the Dresden Files role-playing game. His agent is a gamer as well. And she knew, one of the people in her game group knew that Rob and I had gotten some attention for a free downloadable game that we put out there by the Indie RPG Awards. So when people asking after the Dresden Files role-playing game license kept coming to her, and Jim kept being like, I don't know, I don't know that I don't know them well, I don't know that I trust them with my baby, essentially. She said to him, Jim, don't you know some, air quotes, award-winning role-playing game designing friends? Like, wouldn't you trust them? And Jim's like, hey. So that's how we had the completely backwards way of the usual licensing experience of the property coming to us instead of the other way around.
I can tell you that I have several licenses in my crosshairs that I think would be a real solid lock for the cooperative game treatment. I won't reveal what those are, but because we don't want to let that cat out of the bag. But, you know, it's definitely one of those things where, you know, now that we've shown that we can, you know, at least work with someone who's created a great cooperative game to turn it into digital, I think we've learned some pretty good lessons about how we might adapt this model and this idea and this concept to other games and to other properties. So it's definitely something we're interested in. You know, we've made one really awesome game. We want to be a company that makes lots of really awesome games someday. So
naturally.
All right, so should we play another one?
I'm up for it.
Are you game?
Sure. I have an idea for what we can do.
I'm ready. Tell me.
We each choose our hero that we want, and then when we've done that, press random, and we play whatever it is.
Oh boy.
So we'll get a random villain. And we can decide after what it is, whether we want to play advanced or not.
There's somebody sneaking out of the corner here. I'm trying to keep him down, but he keeps poking himself back up. Right at the end of the list there.
Oh, hello.
What?
No, not tonight, guys. We're not playing guys tonight. He is nowhere near ready. But he is in this build. Let's see. Who should I... Oh, man. You know what? I'm going to play the Scholar. Gotta be the Scholar.
There's also some people in the chat saying you need to configure your streamer to say that you're playing Sentinels of the Multiverse again, Jeremy.
Oh, is that what they're saying? Okay.
Because I guess it used to do that on our stream, but it doesn't do that anymore.
Oh, you know what? Okay, I'll look into that for next week. I think that the problem is that Game Show, when I enter in, it doesn't see it as an option. So I type in Sentinels of the Multiverse, but it's like, we don't see that. So I just leave it as a thing. I'll look into that.
Apparently, it was working for people.
Okay. I'll look into that for next week. All right, so it looks like we've got Young Legacy, Scholar. Somebody asks about Scholar of the Infinite. Yeah, I'd be willing to do that. We'll do Scholar of the Infinite. And Tempest. All right, so we're going to do 3, 2, 1. Randomize. Ready. Ennead
Nice.
at the Enclave of the Endlings. Holy target-rich environment, ladies and gentlemen.
I hope you like targets.
The Enclave of the
Endlings.
Have you heard the music yet for Enclave of the Endlings, Fred? It's amazing. It's very like 1960s Saturday morning cartoon.
I have to turn my music up a little bit now
Yeah.
because I love this music.
Our power has seen millennia. You shall fall before the Ennead. All right, so let's see. Young Legacy starts with Inspiring Presence, Motivational Charge, and 2 Surges of Strength. Surge of Strengths? Strengths?
Perfect. What a great starting hand for Young Legacy.
Scholar of the Infinite starts with Flesh to Iron, Mortal Form to Energy, Offensive Transmutation, and Solid to Liquid. And we've got... Oh, is Time Cataclysm still playing? I thought I turned it off. Hang on. I will turn that off. Give me 1 second here.
Were you just saying Enclave of the Endlings without saying along with the music?
No, I was. The music is definitely playing.
Oh, they're both playing.
Yeah, they're saying that it's Time Cataclysm is still playing, so I apologize. Let me know if... I think I just deleted it, so make sure that that's off. I thought I turned it all the way down, so that's surprising that it's still playing. But anyway, Tempest starts with Elemental Subwave Inducer, Gene-Bound Shackles, Localized Hurricane, and Reclaim from the Deep. All right, let's see what the Ennead has for us. We start off with Geb, Isis.
Man, everywhere in
Tomb.
Europe, in the museums, there's like stuff about the cult of Isis. Like it was a big thing in for the Romans and others, having a cults around Egyptian gods.
Oh, the
especially
music is still
Isis.
going. Sorry about that. All right, hang on. How about now?
Double Time Cataclysm now, they say.
All right, it should be in 20 seconds. It should be off. I forgot to do the go live. I forgot to hit the push go live button even after I deleted it. So, all right, my apologies. This game show app is really awesome, but I'm still learning it a little bit. So, sometimes I
Wait,
forget.
so the Ennead did not deal any damage on their turn?
They did
No,
not.
because they played Taste of Immortality.
Yeah, so we got another one of them out, but we didn't. But yeah, it didn't have any of the thingies on it.
I actually don't want to play Inspiring Presence or Motivational Charge right now. I guess I could still play Inspiring Presence, but it wastes a little bit. I'll play Surge of Strength.
Yeah, just deal some more damage. I'm always a big fan of that.
Okay, so we have Set and Attuned are both bad times.
Heroic Interception. All right. All right. Mortal Form to Energy is a little bit trickier with the Scholar of the Infinite. Let's pop that open. So his power on this iteration is Channel. The Scholar deals himself one target X infernal damage, where X is the number of cards you've discarded since the end of your last turn plus 1. Do we want to offensively transmute someone?
Sure. You could hit Set with it.
Yeah, let's try that.
I mean, Flesh to Iron is usually a pretty good play on Scholar of the Infinite.
Yeah. I'll save that for next
Then
time.
then basically your power is a 2 damage base power that doesn't hurt you.
We'll do that next turn.
You can still do damage with your power.
Oh, because it was 1. So it would be 1?
Well, you discarded 0 cards, and 0 plus 1 is 1.
Right.
It's only 1, probably fine. We'll just carry on.
All right.
It's a learning moment.
I have lots of those.
Also in learning moments, if you're using Gene-Bound Shackles, you probably don't want to press Choose For Me. Because you can usually get, against the Ennead, because you can usually get the bonus against more than one of them.
Yeah, if you can take one who's the highest and make him the second highest with some damage.
Yeah. Slammer. Oh, that was the worst.
Yeah, I haven't
That just
actually
ended
played
up
the
playing
Ennead in a
an
while.
Ennead card and none of our cards.
I only opted to not do damage because I didn't realize that I had the option to do damage. I mistakenly forgot to do damage is what happened.
What have you done with our gem? Slammer screwed us over right there. But that actually, the defensive transmutation helped a lot, so. And we have another taste of immortality.
Excuse me, I did not click the advance button. So I don't know why we're getting all these Enneads out.
There's a bug. There's a bug. Bug report. Atomic glaze.
Atomic glaze. Yeah, Ennead is definitely one of those villains that is just outside my, like, it's got, like, just a little bit too much stuff to keep track of for me to really get it. I'm not too bright. All right. Yeah, I think I'll flesh to iron this time. And yeah.
Someone asks, is Fred still on the stream? I think he is. He's just being
I am still on the stream.
sneaky. Fred is playing Tempest. I recommend that we hit set.
Well, I can arrange that.
So if you, when you use your power, if you choose the order, you can get the bonus against both Jeb and Etum here. And actually, because it's going to be +1, oh no, you won't quite get Isis. There's a request for you to sing a little song, Fred.
Me?
Yep.
Um,
You don't have to do it. I mean, it's not like
what little song?
The Tempest Squall song? I don't know.
Corrupton.
They
Riders on the storm. Do I need to care, or do I just say choose for me?
I think this is going to hit everyone except for Scholar of the Infinite and Shu.
Yep.
Oh, so many fists!
Punchy, punchy, punchy.
Oh, there's so many things.
Oh no, Elemental Storm. Scholar's like, what's happening, guys? What's happening?
Are you guys taking damage? That's a bummer.
You should have played Alchemical Redirection and saved us.
Well, I hadn't played my
Stop it.
my healer yet. Not my healer, my shield, my flesh to iron.
All right. So we want to combo Heroic and Alchemical and take 0 damage, or do you want to do something else? Actually, Heroic Interception hurts me a lot. I would rather that you play Alchemical Redirection first.
I'd be happy to play
It's
that.
not as good a combo then. It's not as good a combo then. So I think I'm just gonna taking 5 damage for that is pretty rough. So I'm gonna just play Motivational Charge. You don't have to play Alchemical Redirection unless you want to. I am healing you all the time now, so Mortal Form to Energy might be useful too.
I mean, I have flesh to iron, so alchemical redirection isn't terrible.
But yeah, then your hit points will get down, and
then I can
start
mortal form to
doing
energy
damage.
next, and yeah, I like that idea. So let's get rid of. I'm probably not going to use solid to liquid anytime soon. We'll play Alchemical Redirection. Alright. See ya, set. Expect the worst.
Bonus plays.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody did set up a Discord server. I don't actually know what that means, but someone set up a Discord server. They posted it in the comments. So if you scroll down in the comments on the Kickstarter, you'll see it.
There's some people suggesting doing a sponsored video with a popular streamer this week.
Yes, I copied that comment and made a note of it. Quill18. I'm gonna read that.
And there's another one, Total Biscuit. So we will get in touch with them.
I mean, it's entirely possible, possibly even likely, that we'll hit 71 before the date changes here, which would give us, that would be a really awesome day for us.
Thanks, Scholar. Oh,
What was that? Did I see that Blue Goo went on a tomb?
Oh, Blue Go. But he's getting destroyed, so it doesn't matter.
I shield you!
That is a good shield.
Nicely done.
Oh, you and your healing. Ooh! Yes. I will play a second Mortal Form to Energy. And...
Well, you won't have enough cards to discard on your turn.
yeah. Well, that's okay.
You should play Transmuted Recovery, and then you'll draw 2 cards.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. And since Mortal Form to Energy is already out, what's our most important target here? A tomb? Or
A
Geb?
tomb.
A tomb?
A tomb causes extra plays, so... Yeah, and you're already at...
Oh, and I gotta dismiss anything. Which is one of my
at
favorites.
high enough HP that playing that extra Mortal Form wouldn't have really done too much. Someone said they played a game where Blue Go was protecting Iron Legacy.
Oh dear.
That's so mean.
See, I have to say, one of my sort of like possibly irrational plays is that whenever I have a Shu in play and the damage comes out that's not one of the ones that Shu's immune to, I always hit Shu first. But that's just me.
I can take care of Shu later.
Alright.
Shu doesn't do very much on his own. But that Gene-Bound Shackle bonus is good, so...
Yeah, it's nice.
Everything goes to the Scholar. So now I can play Heroic Interception for free. Well, not for free, but for almost free. Are you okay with that?
Yep, that's fine.
Actually, it is free because of Heroic Interception. Oh yeah, that's my favorite. I keep forgetting that combo, but when you play Heroic Interception, it gets redirected to another hero target because Heroic Interception is in play.
Yeah.
They're immune to damage. Lovely. All right. A tomb.
Yeah, see, this is the thing about Scholar of the Infinite, or at least the current situation, which is that, like, that Mortal Form to Energy would be great if I wasn't at full HP. All right, let's
Yeah.
get rid of. I'll get rid of the other mortal form to energy to keep out the first thing, and then you're doing your thing. So,
Yeah, I mean, you don't really need either of those right now because you're immune to damage and you're at full health.
yeah, I'm actually gonna skip here. It's probably the opposite of the way that I would have wanted to do it, but that's okay. How's everybody with don't dismissing anything?
I always like that.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan.
Yeah, that's fine. Sorry, I'm so quiet. I'm just trying to take it all in. There's so much stuff going on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's tricky when you're in an NEA game. It's like, oh man, how am I going to keep track of all of this, maintain an interesting conversation for the stream, and keep track of the chat, and actually play like I'm not an idiot?
Bolster allies. This is the card you might have played. But I made you draw it instead.
Nice.
Ooh, good one.
Nice.
Worked out well.
Oh,
And
so much flesh.
you were doubly fleshed. And you're also immune to damage because of legacy.
Yep. Are we still trying to get a tomb out? Yeah, that's what it's looking like.
Well, he won't last past me.
Excellent.
Let's see here. I don't have any ongoings, right?
Yeah, they never have ongoings though, so ball lightning's just a 4 damage one shot, basically.
Yep. And there's that.
Cool.
And the highest target. Well, do we want my Gene Bound Shackles bonus, or do you want me to go after a different target?
Yeah, I would support maximizing your bonus.
Yeah.
Especially since we're really well protected right now.
Yeah.
Oh, so many cards.
Jancer comes out. Yes, please hit the villains.
Oh.
All right.
Well, you can destroy my otherworldly presence because resilience because I have another one.
And I'm fine with losing one of my flesh to irons.
So I'm going to put that one out there.
Especially because that gives me more ammo for next turn.
Yeah.
Oh, another just don't dismiss anything.
Awesome.
I love don't dismiss anything. Nice. Ooh, interesting.
Oh, so the scholar can put
Yeah, what do I want to
card on top of their
play?
deck. Don't dismiss anything.
Yeah. Done.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is what you're doing. We're deciding what our next other card play is going to be, right? Except don't choose legacy because then it will bolster allies first, and you'll draw it instead of. All right, so now we're into this is the first don't dismiss anything, and you're going to play the other one that you just put on top because of Tempest.
Nice. All right, so
Don't choose legacy, choose Tempest. first for the lightning slash.
Okay.
Okay,
We
so
know
start-
what it is.
Yeah. Okay, so put the top card into play. Yep.
Oh, wait.
Wait, except it was that.
Oh, no, because we're playing
that
from
was
the
so strange.
card. That's what. Because
No.
yours is the only one that wasn't. But right. Well,
That's
then it
fine.
doesn't really matter.
Yeah, at this point we don't know which either of them are.
Well, we know that Legacies is both.
Well, Legacies
allies.
bolster allies, but we don't know what's on Scholar, so bolstering allies doesn't matter at this point. So
Yeah.
draw and expect the worst.
Hello.
And I'm going to play an offensive transmutation. All right, who's dealing damage?
I don't know what. Someone will be in the middle of all this. I don't know where we are though. I think they might. They're not done of all their business. We're still in the start of the villain turn. I would guess Tefnut or Isis might be still left to deal damage, but I'm not sure. I don't remember. Pick
Isis
one.
is closer to death, so I'm going to hit Isis. And out comes Immutus.
Good. But I just can't deal damage. Awesome. It's comical. All right.
Well, that's gonna be interesting.
I guess I'm gonna do takedown, and they're gonna hit Avitas for that. Right, and so yeah, Immutus is just gonna be taking all the damage, so I may as well give us a hit point.
Yep.
I want a legacy ring now. Bromutus in the house.
I think I'm just going to know when to
Okay.
hold fast.
Yeah, I mean, all you can do is really hit Immutus at this point, so...
Do I even need to keep my flesh to iron, I guess is the question.
I mean, you haven't expect the worst, so that's better than flesh to
I'm
iron.
going to get rid of my flesh to iron, and I'm going to know when to hold fast. And then I'll have all the cards. Transmute to recovery, bring what you need, know when to turn loose, get out of the way, know when to turn loose. Yeah, that's solid.
Guess I should just click choose for me when it's yeah.
Yeah, because even with the Gene-Band Shackles bonus, that won't apply because it ends up going to Mutus, so...
So, Evil Dice Monkey asks, why is Sentinels the only game I own or have ever heard of where the Steam notification pop-up appear on the left rather than the right? I have no
Because
idea.
we decided that because people complained when they would try to click on the notifications and it would do a thing they didn't want.
There's your answer. I guess I don't play enough Steam games to know. I play 2 games on Steam. I play Civilization, and I play Sentinels in the Multiverse. Well, 3, because I also play Beyond Earth.
Right. So you can't click on when there's a notification from the Steam overlay, you can't click on it. And so if you try to click on it, it clicks on whatever is in the game. Which is usually when that notification comes up, it's an achievement at the end of the game, and so that clicks on the main menu button. And so we moved it so that doesn't happen. Wow. You are tearing up Immutus.
I figured since I've got the area of effect, I may as well just funnel it right down his gullet.
Yeah. There's a question, can you make the multiverse part of the game better? With so many heroes, I wish it was easier to navigate. That is something we are planning to do because we agree. With the larger number of decks, it has grown out of scale.
Yeah, it was good enough when there was 8, 4, and 4, but as things have been growing, it's definitely worth taking another
Yeah,
look
so
at.
that's something we're going to be improving for phone, and we'll probably take the improvements for phone and apply them to the other versions too.
Right,
of
yeah,
the
that's not a secret
navigation.
anymore. So we're coming to phones, guys. That's a thing that we've
Right, so
actually
here-
Right on.
we've been talking about it and actually working on it internally. I think we wrote the very first ever sort of UI code for that, back in January or February? Maybe even earlier than that.
I can't remember exactly. I think it might have been before Christmas.
Yeah, we've been, because, I mean, look, we have wanted to bring it to phones but ever since we launched, but we always kind of knew, like, you can't just shrink it down and drop it on a phone and call yourself done. Like, it needs to be good. And so we always kind of had it in the back burner that's like, all right, we're gonna spend some time to think about how we can make this really work well on phones.
Oh my god, you just got Grace Under Fire, but it's going to hit him muted. Poor Jeremy. Anyways, continue.
I was just basically talking about how we've been working on it for a while, and we were keeping it under wraps because we know that it's a thing that everybody really wants, and we just didn't want to start getting hopes up too early. But now that we are pretty confident in how it's going and how it's been coming along, and we know we can get it out this summer, we decided to make it a squish goal. Trademark.
Yeah, and the squish goal wasn't like, we didn't like suddenly decide to work on the phone version because of the squish goal. It was more of like we decided to show you guys what we're working on.
Yeah.
All right. So Immutus is finally gone, and we can resume punching the NES. So that is what I'm going to do.
Please.
Did one of us get hit by Bosto? Nobody got hit by Bosto. Well, Immutus probably got hit by Bosto. All right. Isis, you are the lowest. You are going down. How do I not have a legacy ring yet? That's a good question.
It's a very good question.
So Bertas says, "Are you guys going to get some heating for the Candelabra bunker?" Yes, we were playing with the idea of bunker and bunker and bunker when we were writing that. So we talked about how we were in our underground bunker working on a project and it was very cold down there. There is definitely heating in the bunker for sure. So to jump back to what we were talking about earlier when Fred was talking about how he knew Dresden Files guy online. John and I met through a website called Ars Technica. And Ars Technica is known for talking about how they have an orbiting HQ. And so I was kind of taking the opposite of that, which is the underground bunker.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see. We've got 19, 16, 6, and 24. What have I got in my... I can get out of the way.
I just have not spent a lot of time with Scholar's deck, so I'm not much help here.
Get out of the way could be good, but you already have full health.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, is I could do a lot of well, not a lot of damage, but some damage. A pretty decent amount of broad damage, but not get the healing situation. Although, I mean, I don't really see another really solid option. I guess I could know when to turn loose and, like, deal some mass damage against one of them, but...
Well, if you want to take a lot of damage, you could play Alchemical Redirection.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Alchemical Redirection into a get out of the way, maybe? For next turn? Yeah, let's try that. And that at least gets me to do some damage here. Any reason not to go after Isis since she's the lowest?
Yep.
No.
I think Isis makes sense. We'll get her to flip this turn. Oh yeah, know when to turn loose. You can double up on that for your power, right?
Aha.
So here,
Oh, that's not. Oh, whatever.
I don't think it super matters because she's just going to 20. So that Jansa blocking damage so much. If you use Chain Lightning, you'll be able to double up on the Gene Band.
Yep.
Got so many cards in hand, just like last game.
Oof, look at that. 7 lightning damage. I like it.
Yep.
And now Tefnut is the highest. Yeah, Tempest against the Ennead is really good. And now Jeb
I'm
is the
fine at
highest.
Tempest.
Yeah, I mean, Tempest is a very strong character overall, so.
Yeah, and I was gonna. Oh, okay, yeah, local assurance. I was gonna say you could even Grievous Hailstorm and use it again.
Do that. Yeah, I could.
Although I guess
thought
14
it might
wouldn't
be-
get down to 11. Yeah, no, you're fine.
Yeah.
John is very
Would
good at
because of
keeping the math in his head on this. I'm not as good.
You would get the bonus against all of them with Genebound, with
With
Grievous Hailstorm. Because of the bonus damage.
Oh, right, because of what is Inspiring Presence?
Well, and like 14 down to 11 is just 3, and you'd be doing 4 just with Grievous Hailstorm before Inspiring Presence. Because of the bonus.
Fair enough.
But that's cool. I think
we'll be doing fine anyway.
Yeah. I think
Groom!
everything is fine. What could possibly go wrong? The environment is killing them. That's the best. Ah. Jeb cannot deal damage.
I think that may be one of my absolute favorite things about Sentinels, is the fact that, like, the environment and the villain can, like, have at it, and, like, you're just watching.
That's a lot of discard.
Ooh.
Nice.
Well, hello.
Goodbye, Jeb. I guess I could have punched the scholar if you wanted.
Another time.
Where do you want me going? Yeah. Wait, hang on. Got it. Yep.
Nice.
Well, that was delicious.
Delicious lightning. So
Top part of their hair,
get
the
that.
bottom of their hair, though. Right here.
This is good for super scientific tachyon.
Oh, well, hell yeah.
Alright. Destroyed 2 hero ongoings.
I don't really need any of these cards that it automatically played for me every turn.
Well, this has gone considerably better.
Yep.
Sockfoot2000 asks, who picks the variant unlock conditions you guys are Greater Than Games? Christopher from Greater Than Games designs all the unlock conditions. Now, to be fair, he sometimes will design them and say, do this, and then John will say, yeah, so about that.
Yeah, we have some input into it.
We definitely go back and forth a few times because, you know, Christopher writes them purely from the point of view of story. And then we sort of come back to him and say, all right, so let's preserve the soul of the story, but make that a little bit less mechanically ridiculous. Because, you know, Christopher understands the mechanics of the game, but John understands the mechanics of the engine. And those are very similar in a lot of ways, but they're also different in some ways. And some of that can be like, you know, yes, that is physically possible in the game, but that is going to be a lot of tracking for not only us, but for players. So why don't we maybe tweak it a little bit like this, and then maybe that'll be a little bit cleaner. And usually Christopher is pretty amenable to that. So. All right, I don't really care about solid to liquid.
You just need to do a point of damage. All right, that'll do.
You think that'll be enough?
Well, what you should do is hit someone else and then use your base power to hit you for even more.
Kaboom!
Kaboom!
Nicely done.
We
Well
buried you at
played.
the end of time.
Man, that Enclave of the Endlings background is so beautiful. It'd be cool if
It
that could
really
be like
is.
a wallpaper for your desktop. Wouldn't that be cool? I think that would be cool.
Yeah.
It's almost like I use that
All
as
right.
my desktop. All right, so one thing that we haven't gotten to yet that I really wanted to ask you, Fred. Why cooperative gaming as opposed to competitive gaming? I know my answer to this question,
man,
but I'd like to
no.
hear your answer.
Well, I start out from a foundation of role-playing games in the first place, and I get so much more out of that collaborative element than the competitive element. I enjoy the competitive element. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like it's such a good fit for storytelling as well, and especially with a licensed game based in fiction, you really want to make sure that you're upholding that teamwork side of it. I think. I mean, I've heard people suggest like a skirmish battles game for Dresden Files, and I can certainly see that. But the real heart of the novels for me is in when Harry realizes he shouldn't be going it alone, and he reaches out to his friends. And the card game really lives in that space. But even before we did the Dresden Files cooperative card game, I just knew that co-op play was really where it was at for me. Whether you're doing it in a role-playing game context or in a card game.
Yeah, that's definitely very similar for the Sentinel side of things. I know we've actually had people request like, oh, can we have it so someone can play as the villain, or I want to do like a hero versus hero deathmatch kind of a thing, and it's like, yeah, I can see mechanically how that might be kind of fun, and that's where something like, as I mentioned earlier, a Sentinels fighting game might be a really fun thing where you could pit Legacy against a young Legacy and see if the daughter can knock down the dad. But yeah, from a story perspective, somebody actually was saying it in the chat earlier that Sentinels is a game that really excels at this idea of like grasping victory from the jaws of defeat, and that
Yes.
That feels more satisfying. I think it was actually John had said at one point, like, a game where you almost lose where a game where you lose but almost win is a lot of times more satisfying than a game where you just dominate, because you really get to sort of feel like you're affecting something. If you just dominate, it's like, oh, I'm just walking through this and then it's done. But if you feel like you're gonna lose, and even if you do lose, if you felt like you could win, that's gonna make you want to play again. And that's
Well, I mean, that's emotional investment right there, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's what I call the Vegas moment. The Dresden Files cooperative card game has a lot of sort of that rising tension feel as you're getting towards the showdown, and very consistently, I've seen like the moment where people are leaning over and there's that throw of the dice at the end. And it's like the craps table, whether it's coming up in your favor or against you. Everyone is like, "Ah!" when the dice result shows up. And that sound is produced by like emotional investment in the outcome, and I like caring about my games, man.
Yeah, totally. Good times. All right. Well, it is 8:53, which puts us just under the 2-hour mark, so I think that's probably about time to call it a night. Special thanks go out, obviously, to Fred for joining us this evening. Thank you so much, Fred, for coming and talking about Dresden Files and hanging with us and playing some Sentinels. It was really a lot of fun having you.
Well, thanks for making the time for me, man. I appreciate being invited. I've been a fan of Sentinels for a long time, and it's a real treat to play it online with you guys.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Yeah, so Dresden Files currently, let's actually switch back to that so you guys can see how these things are coming along. So Dresden Files cooperative card game, $329,000, just a little bit more than the Sentinels Season 2, which is at $79.22.
You guys aren't shipping any physical boxes. A lot of that money is spent on shipping is when it really comes down to it.
Yeah, totally. And, it's interesting, too. Like, the economics of the difference between a board game and a video game that's probably a little bit bigger of a conversation than for just like the last 5 minutes of this stream, but it's one of those things that I think about a lot.
Not play, and I could fill up 2 hours with it.
Yeah, totally. Because we've talked a lot about this, not just internally, but we've actually put it out there a little bit in our Kickstarter in terms of like what it costs to finance a video game and how that all works. And it's a very different world. Like with us, you don't get to see anything until we've done a lot of work. Whereas on And again, I'm not trying to minimize it on the tabletop, because you guys have to do a lot of work first. But what you are typically financing on a Kickstarter is the actual manufacturing, and our manufacturing is like writing code, where you can't even see anything prototype until we've done code. And it's a very, very different set of economics, and how that all breaks out is just such a different situation that it's hard to even compare it. You know, some of the things that we were trying to do, in fact, it was one of the things you said to me when I had you take a look at our Kickstarter before we launched. You were like, it's interesting that you're dealing with fulfillment issues with iOS. You know, they echo very similarly some of the like shipping issues that I deal with on the tabletop, which is like, yes, I could ship it to you, but it would cost 5 times as much as the game would actually cost, and we can't even ship it to you because on iOS, Apple just doesn't play nice in that world. And it's, you know, it's such an interesting back and forth in terms of, you know, what goes into creating the actual experience of the game versus what goes into actually funding the creation of the thing that you can actually sit down and play at home. It's very, very interesting.
Yeah. You know, not that we've announced it yet or anything, but we have been looking into app adaptations for the cooperative card game, and you know, primed in part by looking at your Kickstarter, I'm like, okay, so we need to figure out what sort of, you know, if this is going to be like a stretch goal for us or anything like that. You know, I'm not sure if it is, but if how do we structure this such that the backers are actually getting something out of it when we can't give away the the core game for you know, hitting the stretch goal?
Yeah.
So you have to start looking into like in-app purchases or unlocks of special variants or something like that. And maybe that's not going to feel as satisfying to your backers, but it's what the market lets you offer. So you're just kind of stuck with it. It's very, very interesting because especially with the rise of crowdfunding, you'd hope that more of the platforms would get on board with it. But you know, they're bigger than us when it comes down to it, and don't do it the way they want to.
Yeah, you know, it's funny too, because we hadn't even really considered Steam until after we launched, and fans came to us and said, hey, this would make a great Steam game. And the more we work with Steam, the happier we are with it, because Steam really does make it. They are very pro-creator. And I don't know if that comes from the fact that they built the store around the fact that they were actually making games or what. But if you look at how things work on Steam versus how it works on other things, just this idea of allowing creators to give their game away without them being so concerned about taking their cut and you know, make keys and give them to streamers and do what you need to do to make your game successful. As long as they're in our ecosystem, we're happy. That's awesome. You know, that is really, really, really pro-creator, and we love working with Steam. It's not to say we don't love working with our other store partners, but Steam obviously has made it really, really easy to do things like this. And if we could just get, you know, more people excited about playing the Steam version versus the mobile version, we would be funded already. But, you know, obviously mobile is a huge market for us, and how to keep those people interested and involved has been an ongoing challenge. But we're doing what we can, so.
Yeah, when I first started playing a Sentinels app, it was on my iDevices. But after a while, I when you guys got it up on Steam, I sort of transitioned over to that. It just became a more comfortable idiom for me, I guess. But it's really hard to ignore mobile because everything's pointed that way.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I actually play, ironically enough, I'm a dyed-in-the-wool Apple guy. I'm all about iOS, iPad. I actually just got a new iPad Pro with an Apple Pencil. I'm very excited to play with the pencil.
Oh,
yeah, I'm very excited.
I want your toys.
Yes, it's a cool little toy. But I
Don't erase the cards, Jeremy. Don't erase the cards.
Don't erase the
cards.
But I actually play 99% of the time when I play Sentinels, I play it on either Steam or my most favorite device to play Sentinels on is actually a Kindle Fire. That device just, in terms of our game, I can't speak for anything else, but in terms of our game, that device to me felt the best when I was holding it in my hands and playing our game. So we still have a Kindle Fire that's in our rotation that we use when we demo it at shows and stuff, because it just, for something about that device, it's like, it's thinner than an iPad, and I think there's something about holding it that I just like better. I don't know what to tell you about that, but
I don't know if you're going to be comfortable answering this, but what sort of percentage of like sales are you seeing on that platform versus others? Because I've kind of heard that it's been a little shaky in that regard.
Yeah, no, we're not actually obviously allowed to talk about specific numbers, but I can tell you that our largest market, bar none, hands down, is Steam. We sell more on Steam, both volume and dollars. Our second biggest is iOS. Our third biggest is Google Play, and our last is Android. Or excuse me,
all right,
Amazon.
that one's up. Amazon.
Yeah. But some of that is also related to the fact that we took a very, I don't know if I want to say a really hard line, but like we were like, we're a premium game and we're going to charge money for it. And, you know, whether you like it or not, Android people are much more interested in free-to-play and, you know, I don't want to have to give you money up front than either on Steam or on iOS. And that's just simply
that's been true since the platform's been around, it seemed like.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember early iOS and when Android was just showing up and iOS was still winning out because for apps because it actually let people make money.
Yeah, and I mean, look, you know, we went to Android because when we pitched Greater Than Games on, hey, we want to make this a mobile game, they said if it's going to be on tablets and you want to put it on an iPad, it's got to be on Android too, because they were not Apple people. And so that, you know, thankfully, that actually led to our decision to use Unity, which allowed us to get to Steam easier. And so, you know, I don't know that if we had it to do over again, I would not do it differently. But there's definitely some challenges on Android. It is the most challenging platform and the least lucrative platform. I think is the easiest way to put that. You know, we still sell enough on both across both the Play Store and the Amazon Store to justify its existence. If we didn't, we would stop selling it there. But it definitely, you know, the truth of the matter is you make the least amount of money for the most amount of effort on Android, unfortunately.
Yep.
Yeah, there's, you know, so many different devices. They all have idiosyncrasies, you know, different screen sizes, different GPUs, different CPUs. There's thousands of devices, and we're only on tablets right now. When we go to phones, that multiplies by a factor of 10 or 20.
Yeah. Oof.
In the number of different devices to support and screen densities and everything. And it's just a lot more work to support for a lot smaller market. And when I say market, obviously there are way more phones, Android phones out there than there are iPhones, but in the market of people who spend money, it's way smaller on Android.
Yeah, yep. And I will say, too, it is going to be a very, you know, we are very interested to see how Sentinel sells as a phone app. You know, because we're selling it universal, so, yeah. You know, it's going to be, if someone already owns it for iPad or they own it for Android tablet, they're going to get it for phone. But we're very interested to see what sort of bump we get when it actually launches, you know, for people who, because on iOS, there's definitely a split. There's phones and there's tablets. I got my iPhone and I got my iPad. And yes, the iPhone 6S Plus and the 6 Plus has kind of blurred that line a little bit with phablets, but that idea has existed on Android a lot longer. You know, so we've fielded tons of people who've asked us, hey, you know, we've got, you know, I don't have a tablet. I just have a really big phone. Can I get your app? And the fact of the matter is we're not satisfied with how the current UI functions on those size screens. Even 7-inch screens, which is the smallest screen that we currently support, we're not satisfied with it. We understand that some people are like, oh no, I could totally play it, and I jailbroke my device and I installed it and it plays great and you should just let it be. And we're like, no. We want our app to be a first class, best in show kind of app. We don't want it on those devices if we can avoid it. And so that's why we wanted to, you know, limit that. But on Android, that is less of a, you know, on like I said, on iOS, you know, the tablet size factor was a much, there was a divide there between phones and tablets, whereas that's been less of a thing on Android. So it'll be interesting to see how the split goes when we do launch on those devices, because there's a lot more phablets on Android. So we'll see, are there a lot of people playing? Are there a lot of people excited to get this app? You know, what will the mix be in terms of sales? I don't know yet. But you know, we'll see later this summer for sure.
I know.
$71,000. Look at that.
Yay!
71,002. Woohoo! Thank you, chat, for drawing my attention to that, because I was not looking. Someone just added $5. Yeah. Good times. That puts us at just under $9,000 to funded. Good times.
You're going to be there in no time.
Yes, indeed. All right, well, it is now after 9 o'clock Eastern time, so where are you anyway, Fred? Did I ask you this already?
You did not. I live in Silver Spring, Maryland.
Maryland?
Just north of D.C.
Okay,
yes.
Very cool. I actually have family in College Park. You know College Park?
I'm basically a 10-minute drive from there.
There you go. Fantastic.
Yep.
All right. Well, signing
And where
off-
were you based?
Oh, yeah, I'm in Cleveland.
I'm just going to try to make this go as long as possible.
Yeah, that's totally fine.
We're just on the internet.
Yeah, we're on the internet. We're in our bunker underground. John is traveling the world,
Got it.
as we mentioned, and I'm in Cleveland. When John is not traveling the world,
There we
he's
go.
in Halifax. So we have another person here in Cleveland and another person in Halifax. So there's 4 of us all together, and that's the whole company for the moment. Depending on how the Kickstarter goes, maybe that'll expand, but we will see. All
Fingers
right.
crossed, man.
So that's it. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us on this special edition of Sentinels Live with Fred Hicks. Go check out the Dresden Files cooperative card game. Check out Sentinels of the Multiverse Season 2, both on Kickstarter now. I don't know. Do you have a URL? Give us a URL where we can send people to go check out your stuff, Fred.
Go to evilhat.com, or if you want to listen to me run my mouth on the internet, go to deadlyfredly.com, which is spelled like it sounds.
Awesome. And you can always find out more information about Sentinels of the Multiverse and Handelabra at sentinelsdigital.com or handelabra.com. And check out, we're going to always have all kinds of new stuff coming to the Kickstarter for the next 9 days, so go check that out. Tell your friends. We still have to get to that 80,000 funded mark, so please tell your friends to help us out. If we get just another couple hundred people, I think we'll be over the mark, so that's good times. All right.
Those squish goals, man.
Yeah, squish goals. Oh, we never actually finalized what we're going to do for a 75K squish goal, John. Did we want to talk about that anymore?
We weren't going to finalize it tonight at
right.
2 a.m.
There I go, making it longer again.
All right, well, we have lots of ideas, and John and I are going to talk about them and see what we can decide by morning, assuming we haven't already hit 75 by morning, which, if you guys can make that happen, that would be fantastic. All right, so thanks, everybody, and we will see you next week at 7 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday for another Sentinels Live. Thanks a lot. Good night.
Good night.
Night.